Higashimasu. Welcome back to Goju Karate Center. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate every comment. We appreciate it when you join our dojo channel and send us some feedback on your training. Tonight we're going to do something very simple, very short, and it is the way that I've always worked on reverse engineering hip position in the kata Shisochin on the movements where we move around. Okay, so as always, if it is different from what you're doing in your dojo, please go back to your sensei, ask what sensei wants, and do as sensei says. That is the first and most important fundamental that we're looking at. If my technique is different from the technique that you're using, just go back to your sensei and ask them what they want you to do. The concept that we're working on is about how to optimize our stance and our position based on square hips and zenkutsudachi, pivot to zenkutsudachi. So, we're going to ignore the pose for 2 seconds. And if I go to this movement, and if I step a little bit too flat, too much to the side, I can generate a good set of parallel feet. But when I rotate, I'm going to start losing my balance because I'm going to be on one line. The other option is if I step too far forward, 1, 2, when I rotate, my stance is too wide, exposing my groin. Now, for a lot of people, that always just say step 45 degrees. Now, if I'm going 45 degrees from the middle of the body, then if I pivot correctly, chances are I will have a good zenkutsudachi in the second movement. A lot of people struggle with this. I like to reverse engineer, and it comes from a place of coaching and drilling so that we create muscle memory. So if we have to go to the fourth position, we've got a very nice zenkutsudachi going this way, parallel feet, shoulder width apart. When I pivot on the balls of the feet, I have a nice set of zenkutsudachi, parallel feet. Over here, I move to this position, I have parallel feet, this neck cone there when I pivot, and here. When I look at my triangle, it should be, mathematical terms, isosceles triangle. In other words, this side and this side should be equal lengths. If this cone was out here, then there's something wrong. So ideally, a little bit of mathematical jargon, an isosceles triangle. And I can then go from this position, this position, this position, this, and this. And I can now start working on the rotation. Okay? If I find my cones are getting in the way, you adjust it ever so slightly. And that should start working the hips. Obviously, I can take the exact same position and I can try and optimize my hip movement by making sure I'm going to use an idea of the hip and then now I'm just rocking in my stance, start pivoting, try and generate that feeling of hips, and then gradually move to the technique. And try to generate hip power. Obviously, the medical disclaimer is quite easy. With any kind of heavy rotation and pivoting, please be vigilant of your knees, your ankles, your toes, and obviously your hips. The older you are, the you're less likely you're going to get the absolute vigor that you will see in a young person. So take it and work on it. It's not impossible to develop good hip power, but it is also not very good to see somebody go with no actual hip work. If we don't actively engage the hip, we lose the power base, which is core to what we're trying to achieve. So that when we do utilize the technique properly, that hip, term kinetic link theory, heavy, big hip bones, all the way down to the lighter portion of the body, and then a camming effect created by this arm, and we're working towards that pivot, that rotation, creating a lot of damage across somebody else's arm usually, which is the generally accepted bunkai that most people will look at. So blocking, grabbing the arm, and breaking it somehow. Many variations: elbows, forearms, rotations, stepping through for takedown. The drill is to improve your kata, to improve your body's ability to understand the motion. That's it. So, one more time. From here, cross, round, 45, round. Reverse engineer, start at the end point, work across, place your first and second beacon, move to third position, going backwards, cross, and back. And just invert my triangle. I now start working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the final movement of the kata. So when you need to train the back section, either you move a cone, which I've done for the sake of the camera, or you just walk around and do it from the other side. Okay, so you do that again. I have my setup, 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I want to train the other way, I just go this way. Okay? Tip on how to improve the pivot action in the kata Shisochin. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much.